Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked up by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to Old School on a cold Thursday morning. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us and being a part of the conversation that goes on. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline to call in if you have commentary. Starter Hammond text line if you want to get your thoughts out and share. Hit us with a what's up, DP, what's up, Jay, what's up, Rico. Do that, and we acknowledge and we speak and we go back and forth. You can follow on the live video stream, the Starter Heyman live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Those chat rooms are open. Let's bring in the Husker Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. How are you, kind sir?
What's going on, man? You gonna talk about your boy Bo Lever?
I don't understand.
You know what's funny though? Here's what's funny. I think I saw your tweet where people were calling in and telling you how to do your job. Right, you're like you needed telling you how you need to talk about whatever. It must have been from one-on-one, right?
Yeah,
you're supposed to talk about. Then I don't know, what are they called? Are they called parody accounts or when they're fake?
Yeah,
then the dude was like, I don't know when Jay's gonna be on. Well, obviously you didn't listen to the lineup, and and if I had COVID or whatever, if I was sick, I'm sorry I didn't come into work. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Do folks not know how to use the internet?
No. Well, they did, and then now it's just manifested to.
You only read it's kind of call and response.
Right,
I'm gonna need everybody to relax on Beyonce's internet. All right,
right. Like it's a little crazy. That listen, we know what we're doing. Like we know what we're doing, and we post and we share information about a lineup, about the rules of engagement. Right, we give access to listeners so that the listeners can feel a part of it. Like we kind of know who they are, but we don't need program directors. No, we're cool. We don't have Rico produces. He keeps us on time and in place. We know what we're talking about. This stuff is here. We don't need for folks coming and tell us what to talk about, what not to talk about. I don't particularly need any help with putting a lineup together. Matter of fact, I put a pretty good lineup together on short notice, and so much conversation is spent on rumor, innuendo, speculation. No, stop. And here's the thing.
It's only January 6th, though.
Yeah, like chill. Like here's the other thing about this text line. And if throughout my shows, when I'm here, you bring nonsense to the text line, I will take that away from you. Like, you don't want to be the person that gets us to go, look, I don't need to hear about what you're thinking about that is not a part of this show.
Right.
Like, nobody was talking. Like, if nobody
was mad because I said the sports world had to make adjustments because of COVID.
Well, it's just.
Well, we almost did play football 2 years ago, so I guess nobody's fearing COVID, but I just said that things are different at the combine. I mean, I don't even know. They didn't even have a combine, right? I don't even know. Did they or didn't they? They start doing stuff virtual. I mean, what rock have you been under? I mean, I think like they're even doing virtual meetings now, which would have been great. I was thinking, not that I would ever want, to be a part of not being it, because I enjoyed going into, this, the work, to watch tape and practice. I mean, it was, I love football and I love to compete, so I felt like that was going to be, a big part of me hopefully being successful. But I was sitting back the other day and just thinking, like, so I was in the NFL when 9/11 happened. You know what I mean? And
who were you with? Who
I was with Buffalo.
You were Buffalo, okay.
House full of my boys came in. I mean, it was they came in the game, and we were hanging out, and then next thing you know, the phone started ringing. X, Y, and Z. But I always thought, and they all had to stay for like better part of a week.
Yeah.
And the NFL shut down. But we still went into at that time in Buffalo went into the stadium and still practiced and still met, even though we had
it was a high alert for any building of public known.
Yeah, but we still went in and did it. But I wonder what it would have been like to be like, all right, man, we're just gonna, at that time we didn't have virtual, but if they're like, hey, man, we're just gonna send you DVDs and you guys just hang out at the crib and watch it.
DVD.
Just send DVDs to the mail.
Yeah, or just come pick up your DVDs or whatever it is. And
man.
you guys,
I was in my first grade class on 9/11.
Hey,
you were so young.
Youngin'.
You were so young.
Nick was like a week old.
So it's
I was in DC, and it was. I mean, you talk about it.
I can imagine that was pretty high alert.
It was bananas. This is when I had my bar in the MCI Center where the Caps and Wizards play, and that was a building of note. So we had to change how we did our operations, and everything literally like the metro. I mean, DC is a metro town, so
everything shut down.
That was crazy, and then the Beltway was bananas, and then every restaurant. So yeah, it was, it was tough. Like as a matter of fact, I was trying to remember. Mike Barrow and I were really good friends, and he was in New York, and him and Kerry Collins were up there. Of course, they were Carolina guys, but they played Monday night, so there were a lot of people in town.
Right. Yeah.
And it was pretty crazy to think about. How that thing is, but yeah, the game has changed. How business is done has changed.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think you do better in today's virtual, like being able to study, play, like you have?
Yeah, I would have done just fine. And to be honest with you, Buffalo, we were pretty efficient. As far as how we did things, and that's I think part of the reason why we were successful. Wade had a plan. He knew exactly when he was going to kind of taper off practices and then push us more from a cardio standpoint, and then the meetings were very, very specific to, whatever game plan, offense, defense, and special teams. Right. And then Dom, I think I actually would have, first of all, the off season for me, in the way they do training camp, I think I might have been able to play a little bit longer, just because you're able to take care of your body, even, a lot of ways during the season.
And better surgeries too.
Yeah, well, better surgeries, but just the way that training camp was, these guys only wear pads like every third day. We wore it every day.
And they don't hit every day.
They don't hit every day. So that might have helped out. And I always did extra work, so I don't think the product would have slipped a little bit as far as me, making plays and doing stuff like that. I think mentally I might have been a little bit, been able to, watch more tape or, maybe so. So I think I would have been doing, just fine. But I think a lot of guys, especially younger guys getting in the league, it's probably hard for them because, I think it's a little bit more lax than even college. So you're making more money, you got more time, less restrictions, as far as like being there, and definitely less physically demanding in some places, as far as like where you came from in college versus where you're at in the pros, and you can lead to some distractions. And
well, I mean, everything, like being connected all the time makes it better for athletes, but it also makes it worse because think about it. What if there was Twitter back then?
Oh yeah. And then if it's Twitter, and then you would be doing stuff. I mean, yeah, but you'd have to find a way, if football is important to you, to find a way to always keep football first. Even though you're having fun, always make sure you're doing stuff in the mindset of, I don't want to jeopardize a paycheck. I don't want to jeopardize my career. Right. So I think football is not important to a lot of these guys, in a sense of how stupid could you be when you negotiate a collective bargaining agreement that you would rather not get penalized for smoking weed, but then take money away from yourself when you're retired. That's the dumbest thing ever. You could play. I always tell guys, play football, keep clean, and you can smoke weed every day till the day you decide not, kick the bucket. But you want to smoke weed while you're playing a professional sport against the majority of the guys that are going to be dedicated enough not to smoke weed, and wonder why you're not successful. Because it has to. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'll never portray myself as a doctor. But I would really, really like my chances going up against a guy in a competition that likes to smoke weed or partake in drugs versus me over a long period of time. in anything, athletically. You know what I mean? So
then you wouldn't play in the NBA then, because
I'm just talking about football. Football and the NBA are two different things. I mean,
Calvin Johnson said he did it before every game.
Yeah.
There's an outlier, but I'm just talking about in general.
Oh no, I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, in general, and so it's really the point is it's not football's not number one, and so then that's where you lead to a lot of distractions, because if you're willing, I won't sit up here and act like I ain't never chiefed before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for you people, you probably need to get on UrbanDictionary.com and put in chief,
sir.
Partake in, I call them hydroglyphics. Okay, that's my own version. Okay, if you don't know what that means, then that's just
on
you. But I've never partaked in anything like that that's worth a week's worth of a game check.
Yeah.
Especially at the NFL level, because it's a lot different. NBA is kind of like you get your uniform and they might give you some, but here it's the NFL has been dead on about it even during the season. For you to get into the program, it's not you failed one test, you failed several. This is the last thing. Like, okay, now we got to give you a wake up call. So, and everybody does have issues and stuff, but I just think that football is just not important to a lot of guys, as important as it was.
But to your thinking, you brought up several times that you can't even get to the NFL if you don't care about it.
To some point, yeah.
Like, I mean, but
some guys care about it more.
As you said, it's not participate. Like, you can't come here and halfway through the NFL. Like,
right.
That's
or really, to be honest with you, and I will say this: it's easier to make it in the league now, and kind of like because the league, it's if you're a so-called good athlete, and the league's very lazy now, right? So instead of really looking at how Rico played at said place, we know you played, so we'll just pick you up. Then we find out, like, you know what, this dude can't play dead. Next thing you know, you're eight years in the league, and
but I got speed.
But you supposedly got speed, or you did something. Versus, like, when I came, you had to earn it, man. You couldn't. A lot of these guys that play football, they play. It's like Halloween. They'll dress up like a football player, but it comes time to play, you ain't the boogeyman. I was talking to somebody talking about the Tin Man and the Lion. One didn't have heart, one didn't have courage. There's a lot of guys that don't got both, and so I think that the way the league is now, it's easier to make it, but it's not easier to really, really make it like you'd like to think. So and plus you're getting paid a lot more. So it's almost like coming here, right? Finished basketball practice, talked to another coach, and we're talking about just college athletes. It's where it's like you got to take the country club aspect out of it, right? Because you got to get rid of the guys that are wanting to go around saying that you're on the football team, but don't want to do football team type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. That's what, that's the.
So why isn't that stuff called out? Like, I mean, really called out. Like,
called out to who though?
Well, it becomes a tippy toe kind of conversation when there are people who are connected to programs who know where the flaws are. Like, where.
But who's supposed to have the conversation with them?
Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's conversations to be had. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, well, you need this stuff in order to be on par with everybody else. I mean, you can't be up in here and have like North locker room we had when you had like, one toilet. You couldn't even drop a deuce because there wasn't even a like closed off stall, not running hot water. You're not going to go get some 4-star recruit, walk in there and you got steel cage lockers.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen. So you got to have the stuff that you need. But as far as like the checkpoints and stuff, you got to make sure that they earn it and obviously have the right mindset. But, a lot of kids like everything that comes with football. This is not just a Nebraska problem.
Oh,
it just might be magnified here because we're the only show in town. It's no different than if you're at a said university that hasn't reached their expectations. Texas, even at times,
USC
even though
for a little bit.
USC, all of those schools, Miami, Florida State,
mm-hmm.
A lot of those guys probably were getting down to Miami and Florida State. They're getting all the fruits of the labor of like when
wearing the jersey,
Michael Irvin and those guys, national champions there, and Ray Lewis and all those guys, and then like Dion and all those, Derek Brooks and all those great players there. But then they're putting in so effort, so dedication.
So
You know what I
whose
mean?
job is to be the standard bearer and to remind folks of how much work needs to be done?
I mean, I mean, it's a collective effort, man. I mean, I don't really know because
Well, ultimately, if
I
somebody's not responsible for it, it gets
Well,
passed along.
I think the coach has to know what the standard is, has to set that standard and to the players, and then the players have to keep each other accountable. Because
Right.
the coach can't go
That's
around.
probably the best. The standard has been voiced. I know that for a fact. The standard is voiced on numerous levels.
Okay.
Now you gotta have now when you don't have any, like, okay, last year you didn't have no leadership on offense. How are you gonna, if you don't want to be a leader? You just talked about Derek Walker. He's an introvert, right?
Mhm.
But he's had to do stuff in order for this team to perform better.
Mhm.
You see it on the court, which probably you see it in practice, which you probably see it in closed
On a one-to-one
meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
What
You
needs
just
to
had
be
guys that were just kind of doing their thing. That's gone. So it might be hopefully addition by subtraction, but ultimately everybody's got to do more.
Okay. Well,
Everybody's got to do more.
th-
I mean,
that- that's
and
the-
I'm talking about everybody.
Yeah, that's
From 1 to I don't know how many, 1 to 125.
right.
Everybody's got to do more and got to be and I think they want to do more. I mean, it's the one thing I like is, like, I think a lot of these guys are tired of losing games, being looked at as posers. You know what I'm saying? And I think prior, even before Scott and those guys got here, I think a lot of guys that were here were okay with looked at as being losers and posers. That's how you have a loser mentality. This is talking about before Scott got there. You had guys that were okay with losing because they would lose, and you would hear stories about them being out. If you are okay with going out in public after getting your butt kicked, that means you don't care about losing.
I'm going to let that marinate for a second, because right, that's the thing that I'm talking about. Like, that's the standard. That's how standard is kept. And
if you're going out to eat with your parents is one thing, but what I'm talking about is, like, and again, I'm gonna preface this before Scott and those guys got here. So it's before, I don't even know, DP, I don't even know if you were here. I was barely here. Rico was obviously here. So when Grandpa Mike was here, okay, you know what I'm saying, they got destroyed by Ohio State. Remember when I think Tommy Armstrong got knocked out, and Mike Riley did the press conference, and somebody asked me about it. I said, he's way too comfortable doing this. He didn't been in this position before. Well, by the time they got back home, a lot of them cats were down on O Street. All right. You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know you okay with getting your butt kicked, man. Like, you can't be like, you just got embarrassed and you out here chilling. Like, you shouldn't even be wearing stuff on campus after you get destroyed like that. Now, in present day, I don't think that's it with these guys. So let's make sure that's clear. But ultimately, what made Nebraska good even before I got here is that the guys kind of policed the locker room. I think Rashawn was on here yesterday.
Yeah.
He trying to get his pass revoked going into the stadium.
Right.
I guess somebody told me.
Oh,
Tavy, right? Yeah, they trying to get revoked.
Hey.
Hey, Rashawn up here he gonna go in there with his key card. Look, when you're a former player, you got a key card, right? And there's one entrance that you go in with your key card. I guarantee you his ain't working.
Hey, he's like that player at the Jets facility.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
that's
hey,
Jamal.
what?
That's him.
The numbers,
That's him.
What's going on?
That's him. And that door is was it air sealed? Like when you go in the airtight. So only one person in, one person out.
You hear the.
but why? What is he saying?
I don't know. I didn't hear it. I just somebody was texting me. Woke me up from my nap yesterday.
I don't.
This is early. I gotta take a nap. Man.
Rashawn was
he on one?
Look, man, he has fun. He says what's on his mind.
Man, yeah. Look, man.
But is he telling the truth?
I don't know, because this is him and this is what he knows. I don't know any of this.
Yeah,
so
I didn't hear it.
For him,
it's
his truth, and I believe him. I mean, what he's saying, I have no reason not to believe him.
I didn't hear it.
Now I gotta go back.
Yeah. DP, you was there. Don't try to front like you were there.
No, he took a nap too.
No, I took a nap. I bounced yesterday, man. That's how that works.
Look at Jake in here. Look at Jake. Jake over there with
Hi, Jake.
You got Lemke Limkeys over here.
Yeah.
Got my man over there. If you ever watch Man Eater, the show on Netflix,
Yeah.
there's the Lincoln version right
There you
there.
go. There you go.
He's trying to get me to go pheasant hunting and all that stuff.
Oh,
The only thing that worries me now, I coach their son and love all their boys. And one of their boys, Braden, he's like Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher of the Lincoln youth football. Okay. And he's got a little soul to him and stuff. It's, but the only thing that worries about, he's gonna get me out there and pheasant hunting. What's that movie where they had Ice-T out there?
Right.
Right. Hey, he get me way out there.
Right.
They just had that.
Right. They gonna say, Jay, get a head start.
You got a head start, right? remember they had him out there. They fed him good at that nice cabin.
Man, no,
right?
We are not.
Well, you don't know. I'm from Minnesota. I got a little bit of survival skills, but I got bad hip and neck and back. So, about 2 or 3 miles, they were like, yeah,
bad hip and neck and back.
Yeah, I can't get anywhere.
Like that's not a big deal.
Checks all the boxes, Jay.
Right. 10 years ago, they wouldn't get me. Yeah.
All right.
Well, they wouldn't want to eat me though, because I'd be the bad meat, right?
They don't care. We'll throw the break. We'll come back. Rico's rant. Let's see what's on.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're struggling to get motivated to work out, you're not alone, and Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is here to help. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with Farrell's 10-week challenge starting January 8th, all for a chance to win $1,000. Farrell's combines kickboxing with inclusive strength training and nutrition planning to help you stay on track. Go to fxblincoln.com to sign up today. It's the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge starting January 8th with 2 locations in Lincoln.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted Best Small Bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Bagels & Joe is ready for winter with white chocolate raspberry cream cheese, great on any big. And try a grilled Italian panini for lunch with ham, prosciutto, banana peppers, and provolone on a sun-dried tomato bagel. Bagels & Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies, bitterly cold conditions here for our Thursday, only topping out near 11 with a northwest wind at 10 to 15. That will promote wind chill values well below zero for much of the day. Tonight, a low of around 5 as warmer air tries to move in, and we will be slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of 23. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Sponsored by SAMHSA and Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Old School. Short segment here to get through, and then we'll get a bunch of segments here in the 9 o'clock hour. But Rico, what's your rant? What's on your mind? What's up?
Well, sir, give me 1 second. Hold on. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Woke up this morning and I got out of bed. Had a big old cup of coffee to clear my head. Telephone ring and you wanna chat? Well, sit on down and tell me what's up with that.
I love that so much. Keenan is just, come on.
That's your deal, Rico?
That is.
What's up with that?
What's up with this cold, man?
Yeah.
What's up with this cold, man?
But you got your nice little
I
flannel
know I
on.
got the flannel. It's got the fuzz on the inside.
Yeah,
It's real
so
nice and warm. I'm good to go. But man,
you got the blue and red, so everybody they making sure you ain't gangbanging, right?
Yeah, you know. But no, man, it's like -4 degrees outside. Why?
Nebraska can't have
Why?
nice things. We had 2 weeks ago. We had like 60 degrees.
Like
But
we
then
were
next
walking
week
around-
it's supposed to be like mid-40s, right?
I hate it. I hate it here. I've lived here for 28 years. I'm still not used to it. I don't like it. I don't know why I'm still
It
here.
happens everywhere. Just so that, yeah.
Not everywhere.
Well, not California, but I mean, for most part, it gets cold. It gets cold. This just
Here's the deal: if you live somewhere where it's somewhat like hot, like say like my mom, she lives down in Henderson, Nevada, which is pretty much outside of Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to like 60, she's like, "Oh, it's cold."
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of all relative. But Nebraska not only has the negative degrees, it's the hawk that comes with it.
The current. So we have no degrees right now. Currently,
0
degrees.
We just started. We're starting flat now, right?
Well, but it also gives you the
wind chill.
But it feels like negative 20.
Yeah, negative 20.
Feels like negative 20.
But I'm complaining about this, but my sister goes to college up in South Dakota. She goes to USC. Nah.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Nah, man.
This ain't Minnesota cold today. The Minnesota cold and South Dakota, North Dakota cold is when you come outside and that cold gets like into your mouth and like your throat and it takes your breath away where you're contemplating all things in life.
I had a friend who played football at North Dakota State, and he's like, yeah, he's like winter up there is just you just can't go outside.
Yeah.
He's like, they have tunnels. They literally have tunnels.
That's what the great
to
thing
get
about
from building to building.
That's the great thing about Minneapolis is that it's an extremely active state during winter, which is obviously extremely long. And, and that's why you see people attend events because to get to a Timberwolves game, and in this case now to get to a Vikings game, or especially if you over there at the Gophers and on campus, they have underground tunnels to get there.
Well, that was so when Washington went to Super Bowl, they played in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And it snowed like nobody's business.
Right.
And I thought, this is a horrible idea. I now understand why they send the Super Bowl south.
Right.
Like,
now anything else, when you go outside and go to different buildings, it's horrible. I went up to Minneapolis when Philly beat the Patriots and did some stuff up there, did some, different events and stuff there. And I was just like, it's great. I mean, I knew my way around the city, but with that influx of people, you have to go outside more than you would if I was just going to a Timberwolves game. You know what I'm saying? Just because there's so many people and you have to get around and there's not enough parking, X, Y, and Z. And I remember when I drove back from Minneapolis to Nebraska, woke up in the morning, it was negative 32 degrees. It was so cold, my GPS in my car, or whatever, was frozen and wouldn't come on. But the car started and everything, but it just,
nope, hard pass.
Yeah.
So at the top of the hour, I'll ask you the question because Rashawn was talking about it yesterday. But today's players don't know about practicing outdoors in this sort of weather.
No.
So
no.
I want at the top of the hour, I'll bring up cold weather practices, January practices here in Lincoln.
Well, we practice outside at times leading up to national championship, but that was in December, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
I think like if you welcome it, I practice outside in Buffalo. We're pros. We got to go back and forth. It's no different than when you're down in Houston. You practice outside because you got to get ready for the game and you kind of get a little bit more work in. But then the owner says, I want our fans to be in a good environment. And then he closes the dang thing. And then it was like, well, we practice outside
you practice
for our
outside
advantage.
100+ degrees.
Now we're on an even playing field and we're probably more worn out than them. But
well, no, that was a money show.
Sure, but
that was a money flex. That was
hey, we're gonna practice out here. We're gonna sweat. We're gonna be tired.
We're gonna be ready for it. We're gonna keep the. I remember Dom used to say we're gonna keep the, the stadium open. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we got them. We're playing. We were playing say like Indianapolis. Next thing you know,
so they're like, wait, why is the roof
when you
closed?
got to the stadium like 2.5 hours before the game, it would be open. Then you go out your warm ups. By the time you get out there. Like, dang, where's the sunlight?
There's no owner. Owners aren't trying to be in 105 degrees. Look, man.
Said, I'm in my box, but I'm sitting outside on the little seats. I don't want the seat.
He was thinking about making sure people come back the next week.
Well, you got to keep the checks moving, man. Those are the check.
So yeah, it's different practicing outside. I do think like if you welcome it and learn how to be efficient outside, that it can be an advantage for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As far as like, say, like you're playing a team, it's no different than New England going to Miami in the last game of the season. They're going down and it's going to be 80, 85 degrees. It's different from obviously New England. So there's an advantage there. Just like it'd be like, say, if the Dolphins or say, well, Tampa Bay went up to Green Bay last year, but just say if a notoriously warm weather team goes to, a cold climate, and you don't have the players that welcome it. But, it's been a long story around here where before, again, this is stuff prior to Scott being here and other guys, even with like Bo and those guys. You got a lot of players sometimes that worry about what time they're playing, the climate and all that stuff. But then on the same time, in the same breath, if you ask them, do you want to play in the pros? Yes. They're like, yeah. Well, you know what? You could get drafted by Green Bay. Could get drafted by Buffalo. You could get, in this case, you could get drafted at times by Chicago, which is going to be cool. And I'm talking about the guaranteed cold places. Cincinnati gets cold. Pittsburgh gets cold. Seattle, it'll get cold. Cleveland will get cold. And I'm going to let you know, there's a different type of cold in the Bay Area as well, because that's more of a...
That afternoon cold?
You're right. And then the field is sloppy wet generally towards the halfway point, towards the end of the season. New York Giants, New York Jets. I think we're almost at halfway through the league, right?
We are.
Tennessee Titans. So you can't. I think and this is the thing with athletes in general. It can't be conditional. And when you play, and let's just focus on football. Nothing can be conditional because the only condition is that you put maximum effort in, and there's no guarantee for results. But if you put half effort in, the guarantee is you're going to get half results. Now you might have an outlier where you kind of like, half put it in and you do well. But over time, you start to lose more 50-50. You start to lose more 50-50 balls. Yeah. And then in the pressure time DP, and I always say when that sphincter muscle gets tight, that's when you're like, dang, I wasn't ready to make that play.
That's lemon booty.
Right? Hey, the lemon booty is when you first bite into like a little lemon slice like that. That's for you people. If you ever just look at your face, and that's the size of your sphincter.
We'll throw it to break when we come back. There's so much going on. The Antonio Brown stuff is phenomenal. Hutchinson from Michigan declares for the draft, and some folks have him as number one, which is mind-boggling to me. But I do want to talk about the championship game, and I need Jay's opinion on what he wants to see at quarterback for the Nebraska Huskers. We'll ask him that next.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smithbrook, Illinois.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or kohls.com for details.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
Have you been told your furnace has a cracked heat exchanger? Before you spend money needlessly, call Bryant for a free second opinion. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111.
If you're struggling to get motivated to work out, you're not alone, and Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is here to help. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with Farrell's 10-week challenge starting January 8th, all for a chance to win $1,000. Farrell's combines kickboxing with inclusive strength training and nutrition planning to help you stay on track. Go to fxblincoln.com to sign up today. It's the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge starting January 8th with 2 locations in Lincoln.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of Old School, Jay Foreman. We were talking about the transfer portal during the break. And what's the easiest way to do this without putting your feet onto the fire? Ideally, what would you like to see at the quarterback position happen at the quarterback position for Nebraska?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a transfer portal or not. You just want to see, one is big thing for me is leadership. Guy that's going to be able to not only work individually, but then I guess galvanize the troops and be able to push the troops or his teammates, to be better than they are. The guy that will have guys that want to play with him and for him. That's a big thing because at this level everybody's going to have decent enough arm strength, athlete, and all that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying get a superior leader that can't throw a 5-yard out. And then that's a big thing for me, especially on the offensive side of the ball. A leader, motivator, and then that matches up with the play, especially in pressure time. And somebody want to make decisions, plays the position of quarterback. Just play the position of quarterback. And in this offense, or I don't know what this offense is going to be. I can only go from, say, like UCF and Oregon and all that, right? Play the position. Yes, Marcus Mariota was the number 1 pick, won the Heisman, and was phenomenal. But he played the position of quarterback within that system at a superior clip in efficiency, which then accentuated his athletic ability and his quarterback prowess, and then allowed him to continue to be better and then obviously be superiorly dominant at the college level. Of course, we'd like to get a Marcus Mariota and then everything would be, turned around in 24 hours. But ultimately, you need a guy that can play the position. If you want a perfect example of that, a guy that if you put him in the measurables in your computer is Mackenzie Milton. He plays the position of quarterback in this system or at that time and with that team at a higher clip than maybe guys that were more athletically gifted. His leadership skills were superior or off the charts, right? Guys believed in him. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was times that he got him in and out of plays that he felt because of what he did in the film room and study and the way that he felt the game was going. Maybe he put the game on his shoulders. Maybe he felt there was a play. Maybe there was a player that was hot, or he saw something out there on the field that he had enough equity and built up, I guess, goodwill or good plays, and I call it sweat equity, where you put, not only the work in, but then it matches up with the results to change the play and have superior leadership skills. I'm sure there was times that when they came over there and it was tight, I know they were in a lot of high scoring games, right, where you actually the pressure's on you. Maybe the game's tied, you scored, or maybe you tie the game up, they go down and score. It's a lot of pressure to say we got to score a touchdown. So he's able, I'm assuming at times he had to be able to push people. So that's where the leadership goes. Arm strength and all that stuff is that's up to the coaches and do all that and teach them the offense. And, so that all that stuff should be a guarantee, right? Or somewhat of a guarantee. So whether it's on the roster or somebody they bring in or guys that they bring in from the transfer portal, both in the short term and which is obviously before school starts, or I guess after spring or whatever it is. I don't know how it is, quarters or whatever semesters. That's what you need. I mean, you need it because it's a vital part of college football. It's a vital part of this university. It's a vital part of this offense and a vital part of this team. And it's not even vital. It's a very, very huge part of getting wins and losses in this 2022 season.
Is there anybody in the portal that makes you slightly more curious than others?
I think they all at the quarterback position, the portal is way more intriguing than other positions to me because there's only one guy that can play quarterback.
Right.
So I always go back to when Georgia had Fromm, at one point in time they had Eason, Fromm, and they were recruiting Justin Fields, and they got Justin Fields there, and then Eason went to Washington, and then they had Fromm and Justin Fields. So at one point in time, they had the number one quarterback for 3 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
So when guys go into the portal, I don't look at it like he's taking his ball and going home. You know, if you're an incoming freshman and a true freshman is starting, you got to think if this guy is halfway decent and if he continues to excel, he's most likely going to be the starter for at least the next 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4. So, you know, I think there's a lot of guys intriguing. I think the main 2 guys I've somewhat heard about is what Florida State guy and Casey Thompson from Texas. I think it's 2 different guys. You got a guy which is in a lot of cases just on the surface, if I'm guesstimating, is appealing because you've seen him, you have tape of him playing at the Power 5 level and having success, not playing in, you know, a couple good series here or a game or 2 here. You got a guy that, you know, I think
got resume,
a serious resume, 28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. You know, obviously when the Red River shootout played extremely well. And I think, you know, Texas is a little bit different place where, and I said it when they lost, I said, that loss is on Sarkisian's obituary as when he gets fired.
Yeah.
Because that loss was 100% purely on coaching. You can't be up by 30 and end up losing that way. It was straight panic. And, but he performed well. So, I mean, they got options. They're in those meetings, and you know, it's way above my head, but just leadership and then ability to play quarterback. Now, ultimately, that starts and stops with improvement of up front, and then also with whether it's by committee or by, you know, role definition of running back as well. Receivers and all that stuff, I was extreme confident that in tight ends that they're going to come to play, and it's, you know, they're going to be able to shake that out. But you know, the offensive line and guys that can tote the pill along with the guy stepping up at quarterback is going to be paramount. And it's something that can turn around very shortly. So it's not for you fans out there like, oh, well, you know, if we don't win 10 games, then we got to fire the coach. You know, I mean, that's not, come on, you got to have some sort of, you know, realistic view. So you got to, now look, the pressure is heightened, you know, no doubt. But it's not something that can't be remedied. Now, if you make, you know, once you got to assume, and then, you know, with the new coaching staff that they know we're going to get improvement on offense, then now you got to look at the other 2. Now, the special teams and the specialists have to be better, right? So in special teams, what people don't understand is you know, everybody, I think Nebraska fell into this thing is like, I call them name brand people, right? Okay, well, you know, the punter's supposed to punt to the right, he punts to the left, so now we need a new special teams coach. No, actually, you need somebody that's going to execute what you asked them to do to a T without thought process. Okay, stuff happens one time. When you get 3 or 4 times, that's actually like something that you've chosen to do. So if you upgrade the competition to specialists, it's going to make even the guys that were here last year better, along with the guys coming in. So then you got to assume, okay, special teams is better. Then you got to make sure that the guys, even though you're losing a lot on defense, you know, you're losing JoJo Doman, Stilley, Cam Taylor-Britt, both the safeties, Deontay, Markel Dismuke. Then you're losing, obviously, Damian Daniels and DeAndre Thomas, right, to the declaring to the pros.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you were, you know, top 50, 40 defense last year and at the highest, maybe a top 20 defense, which was pretty good, doesn't mean that you're going to be it this year. So because you lost some guys, you lost some veteran presence. So the alarm should be just as heightened on defense because you're going to need guys to step up, right? Because it's just like you said about basketball, right? You know, they played so bad that now the improvement, there's way more room for improvement. So the offense can look totally different with, a lot easier in theory. Defensively, you got to improve on what you did good last year and make sure there's no step back with new guys. And so that's why the offseason is great. You know, it's the coaches are going to get the coach. You're going to have everybody's attention, guys that want to play. The opportunity is there. And, the quarterback position is number one, because if you don't have a quarterback leading the charge, then it is what it is. Would you like to have your four-year starter back? Yeah, that's just not the way it is. And it's, you know what, this isn't new to college football if you see the way guys are leaving places after starting. I mean, the quarterback at Wyoming just won bowl MVP and looked like he was on the way to being the second coming of Josh Allen, right? He was in the transfer portal 24 hours later.
Yep.
The guy from Florida already said he's going into this transfer portal and played in the bowl game. Adrian left. Then the guy from USC left, right? He went. I mean, a lot of them were, the girlfriends go there. But, there's a lot of guys that leave right, after playing bowl games or have starting experience or have the opportunity to go and start. And so the transfer portal to me is no different than high school because you never know what you're getting until they get here. You're everything's now you get a little bit more, say like with Casey Thompson, because you can project a little bit more because you got to get, I mean, it's kind of like this isn't JUCO, right? You're dealing with, you're evaluating, seeing a guy do it on a big stage over time. So you can kind of project that a little bit easier. But if you're getting a guy out of the portal, say played in any position, a cup of tea here, a couple starts here, it's no different really in high school.
Well,
high school kids. Now they might be a year or two mature, but if you play good for a game or two here, are you really even different than anybody that's played a game or two here as a freshman?
Well, that's kind of where the direction of this is going, is that high school players are going to, unless you're exceptional and universally exceptional, you're not going to get an opportunity to run a program as a freshman in college. Like, that's going to be very difficult to do going forward.
Right.
So,
which might be good because sometimes I think, like in Adrian's case, I think the expectations and the pressure was so high based off what he did as a true freshman. He would have had to been Tommy Frazier or Justin Fields to meet those expectations.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can play so good for so long that people start to find chinks in your armor that they normally wouldn't do if you hadn't been playing so good for so long.
That's
like you don't get appreciated until you're done.
But I've said that about Adrian. What he did here early affected his legacy, his late legacy.
Yeah.
And the next person that comes in has to be aware of what Adrian went through here.
Yeah, you got to be aware of it, but then also you would have liked to see some individual improvement now. I mean, in decision making. I mean, earlier before they were talking about red zone, right? It goes both ways now, right? I mean, you can say
want
coaching,
him to grow,
right? And that's a relationship that needs to grow, coaching player, right? But yeah, it's a pressure cooker. If you have aspirations to go to the league, there's no better Cliff Notes version or internship of a pressure situation
than college red zone,
but let alone playing quarterback at Nebraska.
Can we talk about that?
Because here's why: because you're gonna get a ton of accolades when you do well, and even if you do halfway decent, you're gonna get treated like you're really good. But when you don't play well, it's gonna be magnified. So that's the same way in the league. So if you can't. There's no soft landing when you play quarterback. It's just a position that you got to have extremely thick skin. You can't be emotionally weak, and you have to be emotionally focused, strong, and understand this is part of the way it goes. And you can't be a poor me. It can't be it's not fair, because as unfair as it is when you're taking the blame for losses or the offense or whatever, it's also unfair as you're getting all the accolades for when it's going well.
But okay, so what is the reputation of Nebraska quarterbacks?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this is a totally two different things. I mean, I think
is Nebraska producing top level quarterbacks? What was the last top level? What was the last NFL quarterback?
I don't think that's ever. Nebraska's never been like a USC as far as quarterbacks, just because of the way that the offense is run. You got to think like.
But you've had four different coaches.
But they've never really. That's never been an emphasis though.
Like, you don't think that's weird? Like, isn't that weird?
Is.
Like, isn't that slightly weird? That.
Yeah, but I mean,
Is there any
with
other
Urban Meyer take Justin Fields out of it?
Alex Smith was number one.
Besides Alex Smith, right?
Brett Elliott was in the league. Tebow,
no. Tebow, no. Barrett, no. They're good college quarterbacks that play good under the system, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the space between Tebow, Barrett, and Nebraska quarterbacks, that's a huge vacuum.
In some cases, but they're playing with better players. So you got to think like when Taylor was here, he was pretty dominant as in that system, right? At times until he got hurt, he was pretty dominant. Tommy Armstrong was pretty good at times in that system. Adrian, it was a stat sheet stuffer as well at that system, and you can't compare how he, Ohio State to Nebraska because you don't have the receivers and all that stuff with it. So yeah, you'd like to put a more emphasis on a pro style or guys going to the next level, but prior to it, that never was the emphasis. Though they weren't asking Taylor and that offense. You weren't here, but I mean, at the end of the day, Taylor'd run around, and next thing you know, I used to call him Daryl LaMonica. He'd throw that bad boy out of the screen, rocket launch that bad boy, and it was just either hope for a catch. And when you had Kenny Bell and Anunwa and Westerkamp, it worked, right? You had some, program plays and stuff like that. But a lot of times when you're playing against good teams, it didn't work.
So is Nebraska a place where somebody who has NFL aspirations, is this a place for them to come?
It is now. Yeah. I mean, just for the simple fact you got Whipple who is going to have, I don't know where Pickett's going to go. Let's say he's going to go top 5, right? Quarterback, top 10.
Okay.
And he was dominant, developed pro quarterback in a kind of, a little bit of a mix of pro system, RPO system. So, yeah, if I'm here, I'm definitely looking at it. I'm looking at it that I'm going to come in and play, and I'm going to come in and get coached and developed. So I'm not worried about what was here last year. I'm worried about what's here right now. Now, these guys, I think a lot of these guys that go in the portal, they're looking for somewhere to go where they don't got to compete, but the best guys usually come out of the competition. CJ Stroud had to compete for his position last year. He was runner-up to the Heisman. And the performance that he put on throughout the whole year was easier for him to do, considering that he went through the whole spring competing for his spot. He ran off the number one quarterback recruit that reclassified to come in early to Ohio State, and he had to leave. Okay, he's battle tested through competition, through spring, through off season, through making him being coached hard, for him to have the leadership. Then on top of it, his 2 safety nets are two of the best receivers in the nation. Then just, rightfully so, decided to say, you know what, I'm not going to play in the bowl game. Now we have to rebound after embarrassing loss against Michigan, whole month's worth of practice. Now we got to go out to a Rose Bowl and play against the hottest team in the nation is Utah, even though Utah was down in their defensive back, but still Utah is for real as we saw it. Yeah. And you got to have a true sophomore and a true freshman be your number 1 and number 2. The things that he got from competing through spring paid off. So when you're coming in here, if you're coming to Nebraska from a transfer portal, yeah, you would like to, I'm sure you're not going to transfer here if you got a 3-year starter here, right? But obviously we're not at that point. So if you're coming in here and you're thinking like you just want to be handed a position, that's how you'll kind of get some of the same things that we've had. I'm telling you, everybody likes to work hard and kind of be placed into, say DP, you're a 2-time all, in my case, Big 12 linebacker, or say Big 10, and here I come, and I played a little bit, right? But I'm not an established starter because you started for 2 years and you're gone to the next level. And here's me and Rico, right? Rico might be an incoming freshman. He might be a transfer portal guy. I'm the guy that was your backup. Of course, I'd like the coach to come in and say, Jay, you're the starter. It's your job. Rico, you're the backup no matter what. That's not the way it is. We got to compete. Well, okay, then. Yeah, do I like it? Do I felt like I probably took less reps because the 2-time all Big 12 or Big 10, in this case, linebacker, and I could have played more at another school or even here, right? Because you were the guy, you were established.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, will I be mad? But then I got to buck up, pull up my pants, beat whoever else they put out in front of me. And then when I'm out there, I know, and I can come back to the coach and demand what I want because exceeded expectations, and I won the competition. And then when it comes down to competing out there on the field, 3rd and 5, we need to make a stop. I have to do my job. It's second nature. Because you want to know why? I've already put myself in that pressure cooker for, say, the offseason program starts Monday and you do it all the way through 2-a-days. That's what, 7, 8, 9 months. I've already put that daily pressure. It's not even just the pressure in practice. It's the pressure in the weight room. It's the pressure when you're running agility drills in 40 against each other. Me and Rico, right? It's the pressure of every day in spring ball. He
really thinks he can outrun you.
He might be able to right now.
I can outrun him, but literally everything else he's got me.
So, but then it's the pressure like when you're doing off-season workouts, like 7-on-7 or passing drills. It's that. And then when you start in 2-a-days, but
that's the friction we talk about,
right? It's the body fat count. But then me and Rico can be cool. We can go out and hang out together. We can do stuff together.
But in the lines,
I want my job. I'm doing, and it's not to the point that I want Rico to do bad. I want Rico to do the best he can. You ask me a question, and I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna give you everything I did because I want to beat you out at the best Rico as possible or the best whoever is possible, because I don't want any question when I'm out there.
I'm not sure that quarterbacks specifically, right? It's such a specific position and circumstance.
And they like to be comfortable. Right, they like to be coddled.
Right.
But listen here though, I will say this, and I don't mean to cut you off. I remember because my quarterback from high school was at Michigan. It was full scholarship. He was a USA Today quarterback, right? And I remember telling him, don't go to Michigan because they had a freshman starting there. You're never going to play. Well, he went there anyways because he went to their camp and got all, committed. And they told him he can't take any other visits. I was telling him to go to Iowa. He was ahead of Tom Brady on the depth chart. He got a high ankle sprain, and then he decided football wasn't his best deal. He still had enough talent that the Detroit Lions wanted to put him on practice squad.
Drew Henson?
No, his name is Jason Kapsner. Now he runs like this maize and blue where if you go through the Minneapolis airport, they sell iPods and all. That's his business, right? So I talked to him about Tom Brady a lot because him and Tom are like, if they're not best friends, they're dang close because he goes to Super Bowl and all that stuff. I talked to him about Tom Brady, and he said Tom hated how Coach DeBoer and those guys did him because he was clearly better than Drew Henson. But Tom told him once he got to the league, there was nothing mentally that he couldn't fight through based on the competition and stuff he had to go
already
through.
Been through
But you got to think about this. When you see Tom Brady, when he gets the ball, I played against Tom Brady. We were beating New England the year that they beat the Panthers. And it was like we were going to go out there, and you just knew he was going to just take them down. And now, granted, there was a call that went their way, X, Y, and Z. Next thing you know, I look up, Vrabel beats my man Eric Brown on the 7-cut, and we've been practicing all week, and Tom Brady fits it in the only place that Vrabel can get it. But every time that Tom Brady had to answer the bell in Michigan, being down 10, Drew Henson, they're down 10. Tom Brady leads them back.
Gets him in trouble. Brady bails him out.
It was every time. Then he would do it 2 or 3 times. Oh, competition still up. We don't know who's going to start. Drew Henson ends up starting. Or Tom Brady starts, and then Drew Henson comes in after third. They're up 14-0 from Brady. Drew Henson comes in. Next thing you know, it's 14-10. Here comes Brady after sitting out. You think that he hasn't forgotten about that hadn't trained him? Now, granted, the coach would be like, yeah, I did it on purpose. No, you didn't. You did it because the head coach of Drew Henson's dad was a big-time recruit, and you thought he was going to be better than Tom Brady, and you were fighting it, but it all worked out for Tom Brady. So if you're coming in here as a quarterback and don't want competition, then you're missing out on the purity of football because it'll pay off for you.
Yeah, I think the next couple of days, couple of weeks are going to be pretty interesting.
Hey, McCaffrey, was it Jebbia? All those guys? I'm telling you. Hey, listen here, man. You stick out and you stay around. Homeboy never finished the season.
I'm not sure it would. That's a whole other. Okay, no. We'll put a pin right there, and then we'll get right back here when we come back because there's so much to that what you just said. This program has to decide what it's going to do at quarterback. It has to do it pretty quickly, and if you don't figure out the past mistakes, you will repeat them. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies, bitterly cold conditions here for our Thursday, only topping out near 11 with a northwest wind at 10 to 15. That will promote wind chill values well below zero for much of the day. Tonight, a low of around 5 as warmer air tries to move in, and we will be slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of 23. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
The likelihood that you're going to have a guy that's as talented or even a step up from what you shipped away in Adrian Martinez, right? That's slim. You're going to have to conform your offense, your game plan to this quarterback, and this quarterback and all those guys on that offensive side of the ball are going to have to buy in this season. And that's one thing, right, is that this coaching staff has to relay that message that there is no choice.
Yeah.
You're either bought in or we're going to do this thing without you.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're struggling to get motivated to work out, you're not alone, and Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is here to help. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with Farrell's 10-week challenge starting January 8th, all for a chance to win $1,000. Farrell's combines kickboxing with inclusive strength training and nutrition planning to help you stay on track. Go to fxblincoln.com to sign up today. It's the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge starting January 8th with 2 locations in Lincoln.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very ezy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great. We're
definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Back to old school with DP and J. Presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico, quick question for you. Which was the better Pumps in a Bump video, 1 or 2?
2.
Why?
Couldn't tell you. Haven't seen the videos.
Yeah. One was probably better. Sights 2 was better probably because you had Evander Holyfield, you had obviously Dion in there, so that was a little bit better.
Yeah.
Here comes Nick. Here he comes. Nick, what do you think?
Nothing's better than Tip Drill Uncut, though.
That's right. That's right, baby.
Rico,
have
you seen?
I have. I remember I was trying to show. I brought it up when you guys first brought it up to Nick, and I was like, "Here, watch this." And first 25 seconds, he's like, "I don't want to watch this."
I feel all uncomfortable.
He said, "I don't want to watch this."
Uncomfortable. Something's
and
happening.
I was like, Nick, if you're gonna be on the radio with those two, you got to watch this. I'm sorry.
I'm uncomfortable watching this. I'm not real sure.
What is this?
What's going on? So Jay, we were talking about transfer portal and the quarterback position, and because the quarterback position is so unique to there being one job.
Yeah.
So then the question becomes, if the recent history is that there's instability, why would Nebraska's quarterback situation be where it currently stands?
There wasn't an instability. I mean, you knew who was going to start, so that stability was there. Now you just need to, I don't want to even say redefine. I'm on record. I think Adrian should have come back. I think it would have been a great opportunity for him to cement his legacy, and he would have really prospered with Coach Whipple. So that's where the stability came from.
Well, that's the question.
The instability came from is like guys. Well, and it's hard because Adrian came in and took the Big Ten, took Nebraska by storm, and it was a new coach with Scott, new offense. Scott just won 12 games. Mackenzie Milton was the darling of the nation, X, Y, and Z. And then here comes Adrian. Adrian was his first call and all that stuff. And then he came in and it paid off, and he took the Big Ten by storm. So he was like, okay, heck, there was talk of like, we got to get enough guys around Adrian because he might only be here 3 years, X, Y, and Z, right? So, and then the expectations went out the roof. He was up for the Heisman and all this other stuff. And then, second year, people start keying on you, and you had, some, pretty good offensive line that, graduated. NFL running back graduated, NFL receiver, and then J.D. Spillman was here, and then he's gone. Wandell's gone. So there's a little bit of that. So I don't think there's instability. I think that some of the guys that Adrian had to compete with, tapped out too early. I think Christian Jebbia, right? His name is Christian Jebbia. Yeah. I mean, he went through the whole 2 days, didn't start, and took his ball and went home, right? I mean, that's just not smart. It's not a smart move because there's no guarantees, right? So, at some point in time, Adrian got hurt during that year, right? That's a start that Christian Jebbia could have been ready to go. Christian Jebbia played well, but maybe you're not taking Adrian's spot as a starter, but you're taking reps from him, and then you are playing. And in the worst case scenario, you got real life tape to go to a place that you wanted, or would go if you're not hearing things that you want after the season. And so the instability maybe is in the depth. The running back situation is just a little unique that we haven't been able to pinpoint a guy from the start and he'd be able to answer the bell game 1 through 12, right? Divine kind of came out of nowhere and then finished the season and that's really what people don't understand. The parallel between Adrian taking off and Divine establishing himself as that back is they go hand in hand. So as much as the quarterback position is a huge deal, and it is a huge deal, offensive line play and the guy toting the pill within, obviously I'm assuming, in any offense is just as big.
It's because
that's what makes guys play better. I mean,
so is the running back room transfer portal free this year?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know.
Is the wide receiver room transfer portal free this year?
Well, it can't be because they already got a transfer portal guy.
Who they get?
I think he's from like New Mexico State. I haven't been paying attention, but I think they got a guy from New Mexico State. Actually, same type of deal, pretty established player. Transfer portal or high school signing is no different. So they signed a running back out of Minnesota. He's a player of the year. He's a tough runner. You got Gabe Irvin coming back. You got Yant Man coming back.
Do you think that room is
They got enough. They got enough. Yeah, they're gonna have enough guys that are gonna be able. I mean, running back to me is get the ball and go.
But why is it so complicated here? Why hasn't there been somebody who simply gets the ball and go?
I don't know. That's a question you gotta ask the coaches. I don't know what the deal. I mean, some of it has been guys not stepping up, right? Some of it guys not taking advantage of their opportunity. And whether coaches were waiting for them to do it or they just refuse to do it or do the little things outside of just taking the ball and running. It's there. There's still, even though like Marquise Stepp, he's got to learn how to play within this system. It's a lot different than what USC was there, but I think he's done some good stuff. You got to look at Ramir Johnson that was pretty consistent. Hurt him, got hurt, but he stepped up to the competition. So I think it's just again, we talked about immaturity. The basketball team immaturity in a room as far as understanding the possibilities, and then also understanding that these possibilities and this opportunity is not going to be handed to you. You have to work for it. That was what the standard, what Coach Held want, and it was just different guys working for it, and it was really inconsistent. And that's where the immaturity comes from, right? Work 1 week, I had a good game, all right, I'm done. Or work one practice, all right, cool, I'm done. All right, I'll work this. I'll kind of I'll try to find a way to get out on the special teams. I mean, that's just part of the deal of immaturity in a room. And so, everybody's like, oh, look at the coaches. But, the players got to take advantage of their opportunities. You only get like 1 or 2 opportunities in your sports life. And these younger guys are probably getting 2 or 3. So you got to jump on it. And now, granted, it's predicated on guys moving guys up front. But, some of the guys needed to, take advantage of the opportunity there. Both at said position and on special teams, because it's all the same. The same. It's football.
When do you expect this roster to look the way it's going to go in the spring game? Like, when do you think they'll have the pieces in place?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I mean, attrition in college football happens all year long.
Yeah.
So you'll start out, go through spring. There'll probably be a little bit of attrition there where guys will be like, oh, I want to go somewhere else where I can play a lot more, or not thinking that, they're going to get a chance to play. There'll be some attrition there, maybe some addition later on. So I don't think it's ever going to be set. I'm assuming they play. I mean, a quarterback's a big deal, obviously. I'm assuming that they'd like to kind of have a guy or guys in the earliest possible, because you got to get into the program, get into the playbook. It is a new playbook. It's a new coach. So you want to start out on that playing field, even Steven, right? You don't want anybody to have an advantage on you. I don't care where you come from. You don't want to come in June and a guy's been here since January. He's going to have a leg up or 2 on you, right? Because he's going to know the checks. You only can learn so much from Zoom or anything. So I'm assuming the quarterback's a big deal. It's a big deal to the fan base and media for them guys.
Well, that's how money moves in the booster world with the quarterback. So that's, to me, the program's not settled until you know what that position looks like.
You're going to have an idea, but you're not going to know what it looks like till guys go out there and start competing. Now, granted, you want to add some.
You're not. This athletic department doesn't want to spend the next 3 months with that as a question.
Well, I mean, you can't say that you're going in the portal and you're getting the guy that's going to lead you to the national championship.
Well, you also can't say that thing exists on the roster currently. Like you
can't. Well, you can't. I mean, that's why I say they got to go out there and compete. But it don't matter who you got playing quarterback if you ain't blocking. It's all like a 2. Yeah, you want to add. Look, just in pure numbers, where they only got 2 scholarship guys in there.
Yeah.
Well, 3 with Torres coming in. Yeah. He's injured, so you need another one anyway. So at the end of the day, you don't know if Harburg's going to really step up in this type of offense, which he kind of looks more like a Pickett than anybody, right? A big, strong guy. With coaching from Whipple, can he really just exceed expectations? You don't know where Torres is physically, right? And then you don't know what the new guys are going to do anyways. So
it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. I think it needs to happen. Rico, let's throw the break. We need to get two segments in this last 17 minutes. So we got our work cut out for us. Hang on, buckle up, hang on. We'll get Rico's question, and then we'll finish up the show.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Have you been told your furnace has a cracked heat exchanger? Before you spend money needlessly, call Bryant for a free second opinion. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies, bitterly cold conditions here for our Thursday, only topping out near 11 with a northwest wind at 10 to 15. That will promote wind chill values well below zero for much of the day. Tonight, a low of around 5 as warmer air tries to move in, and we will be slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of 23. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Back to Old School with DP and J. Presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Welcome back. Quick segment here. Rico, we need a question from you, sir.
All right, we're talking quarterbacks. I decided to go back a couple years, 2018 football season.
Okay.
Penn State had 3 eventual starting quarterbacks on their roster. Trace McSorley was the starter. Tommy Stevens was the backup. Who was 3rd and 4th string?
Who was the second string?
Tommy Stevens. He was not one of the eventual starters.
The dude that's there now, right? What's his name?
Clifford.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Clifford.
And who was 4th string?
Look, I try to avoid Penn State like the plague.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who you got?
Kentucky's starting quarterback, Will Levis.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
There's some depth in. Here's this is what's fantastic that we see because of the transfer portal. How much depth at the quarterback position is around the country, like deep depth.
That was the 3rd best starting quarterback room, or not starting. That was the 3rd best quarterback room in the country that year. Number 1 was Washington, which I wouldn't consider it that strong now. Jake Browning, Jacob Eason, Jake Haener were the top 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't put them.
Number 2, though, Bama. Tua, Jalen, Mack.
That's State. Number 1.
Ohio State is down at 12 because at the time they only had Dwayne Haskins, Tate Martell.
So 2019
2018.
is when 20. So when did they have Burrow? So yeah, it would have been 2017. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Look. I don't know how Nebraska hasn't narrowed this thing down. The trigger needs to be done so that the fan base can exhale. For the boosters to exhale.
I'm sure they got it narrowed down. They're just kind of, I don't know, man. I'm more, I mean,
tiptoeing through the tulips.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's an old adage. It's just like going in a transfer portal. I'll go in late than early.
Well, you clear out some of the clutter.
So it's no different than you want to pick. You want to say maybe somebody might come in there late that you be like, man, you know what? I like, you know, you're not going to get two good. Well, you can get two. Most likely, you're trying to get the one, like you said. So you want to make sure it's the right one because there's a lot of pressure.
Get a dude. We'll throw it to break. We'll come back, close out. Old school. Let's get a quarterback. That would be fantastic.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Beatrice Bakery has been serving Nebraska with one-of-a-kind grandma's fruitcake since 1964. You already know that, but did you know they offer way more than that? You've got to try their line of liqueur cakes, like the strawberry daiquiri cake or the vanilla rum cake. Or what about their breakfast breads, the banana nut bread, or the various streusel coffee cakes? Whatever the occasion, Beatrice Bakery has something for you. Oh yeah, and grandma's fruitcake? It's still pretty darn good. Beatrice Bakery, located in downtown Beatrice, or always online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
If you're struggling to get motivated to work out, you're not alone, and Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is here to help. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with Farrell's 10-week challenge starting January 8th, all for a chance to win $1,000. Farrell's combines kickboxing with inclusive strength training and nutrition planning to help you stay on track. Go to fxblincoln.com to sign up today. It's the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge starting January 8th with 2 locations in Lincoln.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh man, the stuff that goes on the break. All right, we've got about 4 minutes. So, of the names that are in the space for you, Jay Foreman, and this is just your opinion. This is not insider. This is not. I'm not asking for any But you personally, give me your elevator pitch on why Thompson would be the guy for Nebraska.
Oh, I mean,
what's he bring to the table?
Well, I mean, experience. Obviously, experience, playmaking ability. Not only experience, he has production, which is just right. I mean, that's number one, right? I mean, look at he's got the stats. He's done it. He's played in big games. Played well in big games. There's all. The first thing is, well, why is he leaving Texas? Well, you got a new coach, a new thing. They're going to bring it. He's eventually going to bring in his guy. And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. But he obviously worked out to what he had. How many? 28 touchdowns this year.
Nine high 20s and 9 picks.
9 picks. He's got good athletic ability. He's got good. He comes from. His dad was a great quarterback. So he's going to be coachable. You can coach his son because when his dad played, you got coached pretty hard. He from all that the little that I know, and it's just barely what people tell me, so I guess I shouldn't be regurgitating it, but from all signs it looks like he wants to be here, which is just as big as everything else that I mentioned before. And I think he's got 2 years left. And then as far as a young man down in Florida State, it's kind of like you're re-recruiting a guy that you might have not been able to get coming out of high school, because he has 4 years left. You still can develop him. Things work out the right way. It's a transition, 2 years and 2 years. I think from the little that I saw of Purdy, very little, which is obviously very little to a lot, which I saw a lot of Thompson, little of Purdy. You'd like to have them both if he has the right mindset. Is that he's got good arm strength and a little bit, and he can pick him up, put him down better than that he looks. And so ideally, you'd probably like to have both, but you just never. The best guy needs to win. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. They're going to make the decision when they make it. I'm sure everybody wants it because time's moving fast. Okay, we had New Year's, right? Everybody had their New Year's, and now everybody knows school's starting here 17th, I think, or whatever, 18th. Well, hopefully, the guys, the team. Been off for quite some time, since pretty much Thanksgiving. I'm sure guys have been working out, before school kind of ended, but you're going to be back and getting after it here pretty soon. And so if I'm a quarterback, I'm trying to see what's up. That's all I ever roll. I know how my dad be like, hey, look, dude, I mean, we did it very outward. Look, dude, what's up? Then you just, we can, I'm sure everybody has options. Everybody's looking for a quarterback. So, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's gonna be interesting because it's a I wouldn't say it's a season defining decision, but it's a pretty darn big decision.
I think it's the
decisions.
I think it's the decision, and I think
it's a big decision. I think the first part of the big decisions are, I really like the coaches. Well, they aren't even set at the coaching.
We still don't know.
But I think the guys that they acquired, I like them all.
But this is I'll steal from Kings of Comedy. The fact that they haven't completed the coaching staff lets me further know.
Yeah, but there's other things that go into it, because
I get all that,
because there's coaches that can't leave until they finish on the second signing period, X, Y, and Z. There's other things that go on at different positions.
I get all that. It is a vacuum,
right? And
it needs to be shut down. All right, Jay Foreman, get on out of here. One-on-one up next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan.